Manchester United's bubble has finally burst. They lose their first game under Michael Carrick, a 2-1 defeat away to Newcastle, which on paper you could see coming, but how the game transpired, Newcastle going down to 10 men, a game Manchester United really should have been winning, but it just highlighted the weaknesses that still exist within this team. Here's 5 things we learned from this defeat. First up, simple. Michael Carrick is not a wizard. This is not slamming Michael Carrick. This is not to say that he's not good enough for the job or to say that everything that he's done so far hasn't been real. It's just more of a statement just on the state of this team and the quality of this squad. They are far from perfect. There is still a lot of holes. There is reasons why Ruben Amorim was struggling. It wasn't just because of the formation that he was playing like a lot of people thought, and the fact that maybe he rubbed a few guys the wrong way. Carrick has done a great job. His start has been amazing. We're currently in 3rd place in the league. Who would have thought that was possible at the turn of the year? Nobody. So it's hard to really criticise Michael Carrick, but this is a very crucial moment for him, and to see how he can grow and can see if he can remotivate these players, because they need it. Like, United need another push now to get, like, they need a bounce back next week. Obviously have a little break now, not playing this weekend of the FA Cup. They have a nice little break now before the Villa game. That Villa game is absolutely crucial in the race for the top 4. They can put a win over them, that will really hurt Villa's chances and really improve Manchester United's chances. So they need to be up for that game. They need to play well. As much as Villa have been struggling, Newcastle were struggling too. And if United let them play and United don't play their game to the best of their abilities, then Villa will be able to take advantage, and Manchester United cannot let that happen. They cannot afford to let this 1 defeat turn into 2 and start a landslide like that. That just can't happen. United need to be in the Champions League places. They need to steady the ship. This has to be the first rocking, and now we kind of really see what Carrick is made of, and that kind of, and hopefully it doesn't turn into anything more serious than that, because just as United have done so well, it wouldn't be crazy to see them fall off in a similar fashion, because they have not played well since the Fulham game. They were good against Manchester City, Carrick's first game. They were good against Arsenal. They were good against Fulham. Since then, it's been pretty bad. West Ham was ugly. Got away with it. Sesko with a magnificent finish to nick a point at the end. Then Everton was ugly, and they needed a great goal from Sesko to be able to nick that win. And then again, Crystal Palace was pretty ugly. Didn't really play in the first half. Then they get lucky. Palace go down to 10 men. They're able to take advantage. But then they go and they play Newcastle, and they don't show up, and Newcastle are really up for it. And I just have to give the credit to Newcastle, because they're in a rut. They're not playing well, but under the lights in St James's Park, they're always going to get up for the game. With that crowd behind them, they were always going to be up for the game. They were up from the start. They were really hard done by with Jacob Ramsey getting that second yellow card for what was deceived as simulation. I don't think it was a penalty, but I also don't think it was simulation from Jacob Ramsey. That's up for debate, but I didn't think so. So they're a bit unlucky there. They just kept fighting, and for the most part, they looked like the team playing with the advantage up until maybe like the 75th minute. That's when Manchester United really started to play, and that's when they really started to kind of dominate play and have a few attacks. And maybe they should have scored, and they could have covered up the cracks there, but United didn't deserve to win that game. They were really bad again, and finally a team was good enough to take advantage thanks to that obviously a wonder strike from Osulu off the bench, who just loves to score when Newcastle are down to 10 men. It's an interesting little trait that he's beginning to develop. But I just have to give credit to Newcastle, that no matter what sort of form is in, with Eddie Howe as manager at home, under the lights at St James's Park, they're always going to get up for that game, they're always going to put in a performance. That's exactly what happened. And Manchester United just could not match up to it. Nobody not named Benjamin Sesko has scored from open play for Manchester United since that 2-0 win against Tottenham, which was another game where we were heavily benefited from Spurs getting a player sent off. They're not creating enough chances. It's just as simple as that, and that leads me into my next point. There's still just not enough creation in this team. They don't create enough chances. They're way too heavily reliant on Bruno Fernandes to create for the team. Cunha, 2 hit and miss, and Mbeumo, similar. Sesko is a finisher. He's not a creator. He's the guy that's going to be on the end of chances. And like yesterday, they really didn't get him into many great positions to score. He didn't really have many opportunities to find the back of the net, which was obviously super disappointing because he's been in such great form. But I kind of would look to the players around him and not at him for the reasons why he didn't get the chances to score against Newcastle. And that mainly, I look at a guy like Kobe Manu, and I can see why Ruben Amorim had some issues with Kobe. I know he's come in and he's great, and like he shouldn't have been as outcasted as he was, but there is limits to Kobe's game, and he always seems to be just picking up the ball in the same areas. It's like just on either side of the halfway line, and he's regularly just playing sideways passes or little 2 yard like passes and little like back and forth, and then he knocks it out wide. He really doesn't do that much on the ball. He keeps it well. He's got great feet. He does have ability, and I do believe he's only going to get better. But for right now, I think people need to realize that he's not this be all end all superstar. He still has a lot of growth to go in his game. Like, how often do you see him be the final pass, the pass that breaks the lines? It very rarely happens. He very rarely takes risks with any of his passing. And until he can develop that, he's not really going to take that next leap. And he's not going to be a guy that I can like wholeheartedly say he has to be in the starting lineup. We have to build around him. But right now, yeah, of course, he's the best option alongside Casemiro, without doubt. But I can't rule out the idea that there's better potential players out there that could potentially challenge him for that spot until he starts to take more risks, until he's regularly able to play line breaking passes, to play balls in behind, to set up goals and consistently create chances. Until that happens, there's going to be this question mark with me over Kobe. Still such a young player. I don't want to go down too hard at him. I'm not saying yesterday's game was his fault or anything like that. I just think there is a lot more growth to his game, and I think people need to like stop saying, "Oh, look at everything Kobe's done since he's returned. What the hell was Ruben Amorim thinking?" Yes, Amorim treated him like he was useless and needed to leave the club, which was not the case. But at the same time, he still has a lot of growing to do. He still has a lot of growth in his game, and Manchester United need to see that to start to develop. That needs to start to develop from next year. There's going to be more pressure on him to deliver in terms of the passing ability, long passes, through balls when Casemiro's not there. But yeah, don't want to go too hard on Kobe. I'm not trying to oust him or anything like that. I still believe him, and it's always great to have an academy graduate playing in the team. So I'm not going too hard on him, but just saying there's growth that we need to see. And I know he's still such a young player, but that's kind of the next level that he needs to take in order to really take his game to the next level and really become that premier midfielder for both Manchester United and maybe even for England as well. Then a big one. It's not really from this game in particular, just over in general, over kind of the last month and even for the season for the most part. Matheus Cunha needs some competition. Like, Matheus Cunha is an incredibly talented player. He has a lot of quality. He's kind of got this Mercular talent where he can be having the worst game of his life, but just needs that 1 second, that one touch, that one shot to really change things, as like we saw when he came off the bench against Arsenal to score that goal, or when he played that pass through to Mbeumo against Everton to set up Sesko's winner. He does have a lot of quality, but he also has a lot of negative traits, negative qualities. Too easy to go down, gets wound up, gets involved in things that he doesn't need to get involved in. And sometimes his quality like leaves a lot to be desired. And that's why I think it's important for a player like him to have competition. He's kind of just in the team by default now because they don't really have anyone else to play off that left side. So maybe that will ultimately be Patrick Dorgu. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, Dorgu was playing great before he got injured, which is obviously super annoying. It's going to be interesting to see if Dorgu is the ultimate competition on that left side for Cunha, or if Dorgu goes back to left back, which is also another option for him. And that we could see that happening too. But I was kind of questioning why Manchester United were interested in Semenyo in January after investing so heavily in their forward line the past summer. But I'm kind of seeing why now. I know Semenyo doesn't necessarily play off the left, but he's capable of playing off that left and kind of roaming inside. And I can see it now because Cunha is definitely the type of player that needs competition. If he's just in the team by default, he's not gonna put in his best work. I think that's just a fact. I feel like that's a mentality, that underdog mentality that he's got within him. I think United need to do their best to bring that out in Cunha and to get the best out of him. I think they really need to challenge him. I like to think on the right side, like Mbeumo and Ahmad can challenge each other for that right wing spot. But I think Cunha doesn't have any competition, and that's something that they absolutely need to change. And just on the whole with that then, next point, Manchester United's squad just is not good enough. It's just as simple as that. It wasn't good. Like, they made good signings last year. Really like all the signings that they made. Lamond was obviously probably the pick of them. But I like Sesko, I like Mbeumo, I like Cunha, even though I just criticise him there. I like what he's doing. But they're still so way off. You still like look at that like backline, Maguire and Yarrow. That wasn't great, especially last night. Yarrow is still just so weak. He's having a really tough second year, and hopefully he can grow out of that. But he's still not strong enough. He's still not smart enough. He still has a lot of growing to do. Again, he's another young player, so I don't want to criticize him too hard. But it's like tough to watch a backline of Maguire and Yarrow. There's still a lot of growth there, and then right back, like I like Mazraoui, good player, but he's much more of a defender, very limited on the ball, really doesn't want to get forward. So I'm happy to have him as the squad player, kind of the reserve right back or left back. But as a starter, I don't think he's got enough quality on the ball and going forward to really deliver for us. And then of course Dalot is just an absolute idiot. I long believed that Dalot was going to develop into a real player, and when he's on it, he's good. But when the second that he is off it, he is so bad. Like he came on in that game yesterday and just made stupid foul after stupid foul, loose touches, bad passes. It was all just terrible. When he starts a game badly, it continues on, and it never gets better. So I think they absolutely need improvement at right back, maybe at left back too. Shaw's been good this year. He started every game. But I think they just need more. Like that left side is starting to become a real problem. They're really just not getting enough attacking threat down those wings. And I'd love to, maybe it'll be Dorgu on the left wing, or maybe they'll find a more natural winger. And then they can really get attacks going down those sides. It all comes back to being too reliant on Fernandes to create from that central position and to get in those wide positions to get availability to make crosses and things like that. United need more, and I think the fullback positions are hugely important. I wouldn't be as concerned with the left back spot, but like I said, the winger to challenge Cunha for that left sided spot, and I think they absolutely need a new right back, a player capable of defending but also capable of going forward. They need that threat. They need to have the players capable of linking up down that right side and finding ways to get into attacking positions. Dalot, just too much of a liability, too much of a head case. It's too dumb, honestly. As a player, Mazraoui not good enough on the ball. They have to make an improvement there. And just in general, they're like, look at the subs that they brought on last night. Malacia, Ugarte, like they're just not good enough. They need a better squad. They just need more quality, and that's been evident. That's not new, but it was really highlighted last night. And like it's crazy because we know about how much money Manchester United spent, and their squad is still feels this frail. But if they're going to be in Europe next year, they're going to need a much bigger squad. Whether that is in the Champions League, which is what it should be now, that should be the expectation, or if they were to have a calamitous drop off now that they've lost that first game under Carrick and were to fall into the Europa League places, they're going to need a much deeper squad than they have right now. And the key positions, obviously we know midfield, that's a no-brainer. We know that's the ultimate position that they have to fill. But I think right back is becoming a big one, and I think that left wing spot is another one. We should find maybe a more natural winger than Cunha to really challenge him for that left side, that left wing spot. He needs that, and I think Manchester United need that. They need that other option off the left, which we really don't have right now. And then I'm going to go positive. Joshua Zirkzee made another good impact when he came off the bench. I don't know what it is with him. He's just such a nearly player. He's just like almost good at everything, but just not good enough at anything. He's got real quality. Like his footwork, his touch, and everything is superb. I would think he's probably the most technically gifted player on the team after Bruno Fernandes. Like I honestly believe that in the short little glimpses that we get from him. He just can't score enough goals. That's the biggest problem. If he could score a few more goals, he would have more opportunities in this team. He would be a good backup to Benjamin Sesko. And he's just not that. Like he was so close to scoring a spectacular goal last night. Obviously, it was a fantastic save by Ramsdale. Well, I just feel like he makes an impact whenever he comes on. He's got great feet. He links up play well. Different sort of forward to Sesko. He's a bit more of like a Roberto Firmino type. A bit more of a link player rather than a finisher. And I just think there has to be a way Manchester United can utilise that, because there is a player there. I know everyone's pretty like adamant that he's one of the guys that needs to be sold this summer. I'm not so sure. I think the quality that he has on the ball, I think they can find a way to utilise him better. I don't know if he's worth investing that sort of like time and thought in, but for me, like I've loved the impact that he's made, and I would like to see him get a start. I don't know, as the striker or as the number 10 perhaps. it's interesting with him. He would kind of thrive as in a two-man forward line. That's the thing with Joshua Zirkzee, and unfortunately, they're long gone out of fashion. So I don't know if he's ever going to get that, especially in this Manchester United team. But I would love to see them play maybe a more traditional, like a 4-2-2, as in if we had Casemiro, Mainu at the base of the midfield, Fernandez and Cunha, or Fernandez and Mbuemo as kind of more two kind of inverted wingers, and then Sesko and Zirkzee up front. That'll be an interesting thing to see, because I believe he could link real well with Sesko, and I believe he could create chances for him. Zirkzee might be that other player that could really create for Manchester United. I feel like whenever he comes on, the last two games especially, he provides that spark and they start to create more, because he is a great link player, and that's something that they miss, and that's something that Sesko really isn't, and that's okay. As long as Sesko's putting the ball in the net, as long as he has 2 touches a game and one of those is a goal, I'm A-okay with that. But I think they need that bit more creation in that forward line, and I think Zirkzee is capable of providing it. I don't think we're going to get to see he's going to get this opportunity that I'm preaching for right now, but I really think that there is a player there, and I really think Manchester United should try and find a way to utilize his qualities rather than think of him as collateral and a player that they could potentially sell this summer. I think he deserves a shot at Manchester United. There is a player there, not your one-man striker, not your number 10, but there is a player there, and I'm interested to see if there's any way Manchester United could find a way to get the best out of Joshua Zirkzee, making a good impact of late, and hopefully maybe a goal will come or an assist will come in the next couple of games for him, because I would like to see him get a bit more credit, and I'd like to see him kind of put United on notice for his abilities. That'd be great to see. Yeah, that's it. Finish on a positive note. It's not all negative. It's not all doom and gloom. Yeah, it's a really annoying result. Yeah, it's sad that the bubble has finally burst and we are no longer undefeated under Michael Carrick. But let's see how they bounce back. We got a little break now before the next game. Obviously, we have to stew on this loss for a while, and hopefully that stands to us when we go and play Villa in a couple of weeks. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below, what do you think about Manchester United? Who do you think that they should be targeting this summer outside of the midfielders? As we all know, the midfielders are a must. What wingers do you think could come in? Do they need one? Is Cunha the guy to really nail down that left wing spot? Who should come in at right back? There's lots going on, and is this a sign that Michael Carrick is not the man to lead Manchester United forward? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, guys. Peace out.